And so what's happened is that we used to be an industry where it was enough to get in front of people when they were ready to buy and sell. That was called referral-based world. We were the gatekeepers. When somebody finally wanted to buy, wanted to sell, they had to out themselves, and they had to go to an open house, or they had to tell their friend, and they'd get referred because we were the gatekeepers. Does that make sense? You want data, you go where? And then this thing came along, and now we're an industry where you have to get in front of people when they're ready to learn, which is a completely different thing because their process is now 3 to 18 months. And so what's happening is this. I want you to take a look for a second at this slide. This is from NAR and this is from Real Trends Reports, and here's what they found. 5 years ago when I was teaching business growth, the number one source of business, 69% of all transactions was what? It's literally right in front of you guys. You just got to look at the screen. I see some of you guessing right now. I'm not going to make eye contact with you, but I saw you. I saw what you just did, okay? It was referrals. Last year, less than 44% of business was referrals. By the way, last year in California, I don't care where you are from across the country, across the world, last year in California, less than 14% of business was referrals. Why should that matter to you? You're like, we're not in California, what do we care? Why does California matter to every single person in this room? What happens in California? That's where the software starts, right? That's where the Zillows of the world, and that software gets used by who? The consumers. And so it doesn't matter if you're in Timbuktu, whatever country, state, wherever you happen to be, when that consumer behavior starts changing, it doesn't just change in that place, it does what? And so here's what's going on though, guys, to make you feel a little bit better. Last year, 92 to 96% of all people looking to buy a house or sell a house started their search where? You all knew it, online. And yet here's the interesting thing. 72% of all those people still worked with the first person they had a conversation with. This is interesting, guys, because we get the more experienced generation that comes in and knows how to talk to people, and they're good with the referrals, and they're good, but they have no idea how to do the tech and the social. They just hire some young person to post occasionally. And then you get the young people who are awesome on tech but don't know how to have a conversation. And yet people are starting online, but 72% of the time are working with the first person they have a conversation with. And because they're coming from that place and they're not just being referred now, we say these leads suck. And what I'm going to tell you is that you haven't been properly trained how to actually convert somebody because they're on a 3 to 18 month process. And so rather than learn the proper skills and actually become salespeople, we say these leads suck. And what I'm telling you across the industry in most cases for people who can't convert these leads, it's not the leads that suck. When's he going to get funny again? You want some good news, guys? In the last 5 years, all of these people going online, mobile, all of this stuff, last 5 years, the number of people who used a real estate professional when buying or selling a house has gone up consecutively every single year for the last 5 years. For sale by owners, FSBOs, fastest and shortest business opportunities, are at their lowest level in over 30 years. But they're not working with the same people. Their process has changed. Guys, here's an interesting thing. I'm confused because 92 to 96% are going online, and yet the number of people using a real estate professional has gone up every year, and yet in every other industry when that's happened, it's ruined that industry. Don't you guys remember? The guy that started Zillow started Expedia. They're trying to put us out of business. You guys remember that? Some of you still believe that. What is the difference between every other industry and our industry? Don't tell me it's more complicated. What is the difference? The difference is that you can't add a house to a shopping cart. Guys, I'll take a navy blue blazer, I'll take some jeans, and I'll take a 4-bedroom, 2-bath colonial. And by the way, can I connect that to my PayPal? Not the way our industry works. There are 3 things that people will continue to do in person until the day I die. You ready? They will eat meals, they will make babies, and they will buy houses. And not one of you is thinking about eating meals or buying houses right now. Consumer behavior has changed. We now live in a world where if you're in here, and guys, I want to be very clear, I love referrals. Referrals are awesome. We train referrals. But you also need to look at what's happening in the pipeline process. The problem is that this thing right here changed everything. And whereas before, I had to wait until I was ready to buy and sell, and I'd go tell someone and they'd refer someone to me, and you were amazing salespeople because you converted every single time on that referral, what's happening now is that 8 months before they even tell their spouse they're thinking of buying or selling, they're jumping on this at 1 o'clock in the morning, looking at Zillow, looking at your websites, and talking to 6 different agents before they ever get to the point that they even have a chance of a referral. Is that not what's happening? And then they finally go to an open house and they go, hey, use my friend. And they go, I'm already using Diane. Because she got to me when they were ready to learn, not when they were ready to buy and sell. She didn't create narratives that these leads suck because the first time I talked to her, she didn't sell her house next week. They are acting the exact same way that you act in your consumer behavior. And we are now a world where we more than ever need to understand that visibility will always trump ability. Being an option will always trump being the best. You have to be an option at the place that they're actually searching. And the funny thing is that 75% of all sellers and 70% of all buyers, the number one reason when they selected an agent online, that's how many of them selected their agent online, 75% of sellers, 70% of buyers, number one reason they went with the agent they did, local market knowledge. They'd actually like to work with someone with some experience. But you're not even an option because you're still running your business like 90210 is a hit show at night. Same reaction, guys. Visibility will always trump ability. How many of you know someone in your area right now who sells more houses than you and you just don't get it? Like every time it happens, you're like, were there people involved? Like what is... How many of you know someone like that? Say I, and don't look at anybody right now, okay? Don't look at anybody, but how many of you know somebody like that? So here's the thing that scares me more than anything. You ready for this? Here's what scares me. We are acting in our businesses as marketers differently than we're behaving as consumers. We are acting as marketers differently than we're behaving as consumers. Show of hands, guys, really quick. How many of you at least once a day go on one of these platforms? At least, I'm not saying you comment. You might be a Facebook stalker or an Instagram stalker, but how many of you at least once a day go on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, or Twitter at least once a day? Let me see your hands. Keep your hands raised. Keep them up. Look around the room, everybody. Look around the room. Okay, keep your hands up. How many of you in this room have a minimum average spend of at least $500 a month on one of those platforms? Hold on, I guess they must have turned this off. I said, how many of you? What just happened? We are coming up with these narratives about these different things we don't want to do. That's not, and yet we are in a business where all that matters is where people are. It doesn't matter if you agree with it. It doesn't matter if you like it. It doesn't matter if you don't like that people are staring at their phones and doing these kinds of things. All that matters is that 52% of all web traffic last year was social. It was bigger than the rest of the internet. Like it should literally be called the internet and everything else should be called something else. And in the meantime, we're still creating narratives like, I don't go on Facebook because I don't need to know that John had chicken for dinner. All that matters is where people are. Guys, why am I in a ballroom in Orlando right now? Because it was on our goal chart at the beginning of the year that the year's not complete unless I'm in Orlando in that ballroom? It's because you're here, and you're my target market. And when it comes to this business, which is a people business, it doesn't matter your opinions of things. All that matters is where is the attention. Visibility trumps ability. How do I get in front of them? How do I make that happen? Now, in order to do that, you've got to do 2 things. And I'm going to go into more detail of these over the next coming days. But number one, what you've got to do is you've got to embrace digital over old school marketing. What is the difference between digital and a billboard? And guys, I'm going to give you free training at the end. I'm going to give you all sorts of free stuff. So stick with me on the principle right now, okay? But when it comes to digital, here's what's so cool about digital. You can take any message you want in the world right now, put it in front of every single person in your area, and you only pay when they engage. You don't pay a dime if they don't engage. If you put out a thing about your listing and they don't ask a question, you don't pay. If you put out a call to action on getting your home value and they don't engage, you don't pay. And yet you still got something, you got branding. Is that different than old school? When you went and got that billboard, long-term contract, thousands of dollars, you never questioned the ROI. Because the first time you went to a party and someone said, hey, saw you on the billboard, you went, worth it. The second thing we have to do is embrace video. Now, I'm aware I'm going to lose a lot of eye contact right now, and that you guys don't like video. And why don't you like video? Because you don't like how you look and sound. You guys ready for a little breakthrough right now? You guys ready? Everybody ready? Ready for an Oprah moment? Okay, arms up, everybody. You guys ready? Ready? Everyone knows what you look and sound like. Hey, guys. I see you, like highest definition there is. So if you're avoiding video, you damn well better be walking around here with a bag over your head. And yet, what's so powerful about video? Guys, look, I'm not anti-email and text, but you send me an email and text all day, right? Here's the difference. That email text has the exact same font of every email and text I've gotten today. It's the same thing I've gotten 300 other times, and it's very easy for me to reject. But when you get a lead in, and you're at your kid's soccer game, and you don't have makeup on, and you've got your hat on, and you don't have your name badge on, but you pick up your phone and you use BombBomb or something else, and you go, hey, got your request, didn't want you to think I forgot about you, I'm at my kids' or my grandkids' ball game, I'll get back to you later today, you just became human. And it is much more difficult to reject a person than it is to reject a font. Does that make sense to everybody here? Guys, are things different? Yeah. Are they more difficult? Yeah. Are we learning? Yeah. Do you screw up? Guys, the other day, my wife went on Facebook, and she saw that somebody's loved one passed away. And she thought, you know what, let me go write something nice, sorry to hear. And she started typing, and the GIFs or the GIFs or whatever you call them pulled up. And she's never sent one in her life. And she went to delete them, and it sent a GIF. And do you know what GIF it sent? It was a penguin going, bye-bye, bye-bye. That's not a 94-year-old woman, ladies and gentlemen. That's my wife. Still learning this new world. She called me in a panic. I was about to, how do I delete a GIF? How do I delete this? Like, hey, she's going to be the world's best GIF user by next week, I promise you. I promise you that. Guys, last year a record number of videos sold, and Blockbuster went out of business. Last year, a record number of books sold, and Amazon or Borders Books went out of business. Toys R Us, bankrupt. What am I saying? I'm saying Blockbuster should have started Netflix. I'm saying that Borders Books should have started Amazon. I'm saying that people didn't stop purchasing these things, but the way they did changed. And people are not using real estate people, but the way they're finding them has changed. And you getting romantic is the quickest way to work harder for a lesser result. Now, here's what I want for you guys. I'm going to hang around here. I'm going to give you guys some free training. You guys want some free training on how to do some of this stuff? Up on your screen, you're going to see there, if you send an email to yes@jaredjamestoday.com, not Jared James, jaredjamestoday.com, we're going to send you free training after this conference that goes through how to do everything that I'm talking about. I'm doing 2 sessions tomorrow where I'm going to talk about how to create predictable leads and how to actually convert them. And then after this opening session here from 5 to 7 at your Industry Connect over in the expo, I'm going to give away 200 free books of my last book. I'm going to sign them for you. You guys are going to get them 100% free, okay? I am looking forward, guys. I hope we get a chance to connect. You can go to connectwithjared.com, connect on Instagram, all these places. Send me messages. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys over the coming days and helping you with your businesses. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you.